The Galactic Council's meeting chamber was silent. Thousands of alien delegates sat in their glowing seats, staring at the large hollow screen floating in the air. On it was a small human child, no more than 7 years old, sitting alone in a dark metal room. His face was dirty, his hands shaking. "Please," the boy whispered, voice soft and broken. "Is someone there? They said they would help us." The soldiers. "They're coming back. Please, I'm scared." Then came the sound. Heavy boots, shouting, metal doors opening. The boy gasped and turned his head. The screen flickered and then it went black. For a long moment no one spoke. The chamber stayed quiet, the silence thick like smoke. The message had been found drifting through deep space, repeating again and again on an old distress frequency. A tall alien with silver skin, Counselor Varys, finally stood. "A tragic accident," he said, waving his claw. "The humans should control their colonies better. We can't be blamed for their mistakes." Some nodded. Others looked away. In the back row, a young alien diplomat whispered to his friend, "Strange. That signal came from Council-controlled space, not human territory." His friend shrugged. "Then delete it. The humans are gone from galactic politics. They won't care." But someone did hear it. Far away, on a quiet blue planet called Earth, deep sensors picked up the same transmission. For 300 years, Earth had stayed silent. No contact, no voice in the Council, only whispers of their past wars. Many believed the humans had grown weak. Some thought they had destroyed themselves. Inside a hidden bunker, under the ruins of the old city Geneva, a computer came alive for the first time in centuries. Dust fell from its panels as glowing letters appeared across a cracked screen. "Incoming signal detected. Source, human child, outpost 47. A woman sat alone in that control room. Admiral Ilara Stone, her face marked by time and sorrow, looked at the message. She played it once, twice, 3 times. Each time, her hands shook more. When the screen went black, she whispered, 'They killed a child.' Behind her, a deep, mechanical voice echoed through the room, calm, powerful, and cold. 'Protocol revenant detected. Authorization required.' Ilara hesitated. Her voice was barely a whisper. 'Are we ready?' 'Earth's defenses remain intact,' the voice replied. 'The fleets sleep.' 'Shall I wake them?' Ilara closed her eyes. Memories flashed, the ancient wars, the pain, the promise humanity made never to fight again. But the boy's face would not leave her mind. 'Yes,' she said quietly. 'Wake them all!' Across the planet, deep under oceans and mountains, ancient machines stirred. Giant vault doors opened for the first time in centuries. Dust and steam rose into the air as old engines came to life. Under the sands of what was once the Sahara, a mountain split apart, revealing the Titan-class ship Leviathan, its hull glowing with forgotten symbols. In Antarctica, the solar hammer began to rise from the ice, light pouring from its reactors like a sunrise. And on the moon, within an old base named Lunar Station 1, a massive hangar lit up with blue energy. Inside, thousands of ships floated quietly, the sleeping giants of Earth. Everywhere, alarms echoed across the silent planet. Cities long abandoned started to glow again. Satellites reactivated, forming a shining net around Earth's orbit. For the first time in 300 years, the galaxy saw Earth shining again. In the Galactic Council's capital world, Virel, panic began to spread. News broadcasts flashed across every screen. Breaking, Earth transmissions detected. Multiple fleets awakening. Power readings off the scale. The Council gathered again. Varys slammed his claw on the table. "Impossible! Earth's fleets were destroyed centuries ago." Another delegate shouted, "No, they weren't. They just went to sleep." Fear filled the chamber. The last time Earth's fleets had moved, entire empires had fallen. The humans had promised peace after that war, withdrawing to their world, but no one knew what they did afterward. Now, it seemed the answer was clear. Back on Earth, Admiral Ilara stood before a massive hologram showing dozens of glowing red dots, the Galactic Council worlds. "The Council thinks this is a message," she said to the AI beside her. "But it's not." The AI's voice rumbled like thunder. "Then what is it, Admiral?" A warning. She sent one message across the stars. Simple, direct and cold. You touched what we swore to protect. Moments later, thousands of alien ships detected movement from Sol system. Long-range sensors picked up enormous energy readings. The fleet was moving, faster than any modern ship could travel. A young alien officer on a patrol station gasped as he saw it on his screen. "Captain, they're coming." "The humans are coming?" His captain stared at the display, hundreds of red signals rising from Earth, forming perfect battle formations. The officer whispered, trembling, "What are they?" The captain swallowed hard. Sleeping giants. In the dark of space, the first ship broke through the clouds. It was larger than cities, older than nations. Its name was carved into its side, Eternal Resolve. Inside the command deck, Admiral Ilara looked out at the stars. Her voice was steady. "Set course for Council space." The engines ignited, and the void trembled. The giants had awoken. The darkness of space lit up with a soft blue glow. Earth's ancient warships moved like shadows among the stars, their engines humming like a heartbeat. For centuries, they had slept, silent guardians buried deep beneath the planet's surface, waiting for the day they were needed again. That day had come. At the center of the fleet, the flagship Eternal Resolve led the way. Its hull still carried scars from the last Great War, but its power was untouched. Inside the command deck, Admiral Ilara Stone stood before a massive screen filled with stars. Her reflection flickered in the glass, tired eyes, calm face, but a storm burning inside. Behind her, the ship's AI, an ancient digital mind named Oryx, came online. Its voice was deep and calm, almost human. "Fleet systems fully operational. All sleeping giants have awakened," Ilara nodded. "Status report, 65 capital ships, 200 strike cruisers, thousands of drones and support craft. Weapons and shields at full capacity. No malfunctions." Ilara took a breath. "And the others?" "Civilian population on Earth remains stable. Global defenses active. Lunar station reporting full sync. The planet is ready." For a moment she closed her eyes. Ready for what? She thought. Humanity had promised never to rise again, never to bring war to the stars. But now the galaxy had forced their hand. Oryx spoke again, breaking the silence. "The Galactic Council has issued an emergency broadcast. They request explanation and peace." Ilara's voice was cold. "They had their peace. They killed it when they killed that child. Far away, on the Council homeworld of Virel, chaos had replaced order. Every screen showed terrifying images. Earth's fleets moving through the void, formation perfect, engines glowing brighter than any known technology. Councillor Varys slammed his claws against the table. "We must stop them before they reach our systems." But the elder alien Toran, his scales grey with age, shook his head slowly. "Stop them, you fool! You cannot stop the humans. No one can. You can only pray they stop themselves." The chamber grew quiet. Every delegate could feel it. Fear, pure old fear. A voice came from the corner. A small alien diplomat who had studied human history. "They called their ships sleeping giants for a reason. They are not just machines. They are memories. Memories." Varys snapped. The young diplomat nodded nervously. "Human ships were built using emotion-based neural cores, living intelligence mixed with human consciousness. They feel, they remember. Every loss, every battle, every death. They remember it all." Varys's face turned pale. "Then we are doomed." Meanwhile, in deep space, the Eternal Resolve and its fleet moved past Mars. The ship's hulls shimmered as the sunlight hit them. Gold, silver and black metals forged from forgotten technology. On board the Solar Hammer, Commander Ryan Cade spoke to his crew. They said Earth was dead. They said humans were gone. "Let's show them what silence really means." His crew cheered softly, but their eyes held emotion, anger, pain, pride. Hours later, the first transmission came from the Council. A hologram appeared in front of Admiral Ilara, Councillor Varys himself. His tone was calm, but fear leaked through every word. "Admiral Stone, this action is unnecessary. The Council regrets the tragedy. It was A mistake. Ilara stared at him silently for a moment before speaking. A mistake? You call killing a child a mistake? Varys looked away. We can negotiate. The galaxy cannot afford another war. Ilara's eyes were cold. You should have thought of that before spilling innocent blood. She ended the transmission. The fleet continued its journey, faster, quieter, unstoppable. Planets along their path went dark, their people watching in silence as the massive ships passed overhead. No weapons fired, no threats spoken. Children pointed at the sky, asking their parents what those lights were. And the parents whispered, humans. Inside the eternal resolve, Ilara walked through the observation deck. Thousands of drone ships flew in perfect lines, glowing faintly blue against the black of space. Each one carried the name of a fallen human colony. She stopped at one and placed her hand on the glass. Outpost 47, she whispered, the colony where the human child had died. The AI Aurex spoke softly, emotional core readings increasing. The fleet responds to your pain, Admiral. She looked up at the stars. Good, let them feel what humanity feels. Back in the Council's chamber, alarms suddenly blared. A communication officer shouted, Emergency alert! The human fleet has disappeared from our long-range sensors. What do you mean, disappeared? Varys demanded. They entered a jump corridor, sir. Unknown technology. Destination unknown. Toran stood slowly. They're coming here, he whispered. The room fell silent. Moments later, hundreds of civilian ships in Council space picked up a strange reading. A massive distortion in the sky. Clouds twisted, and the stars bent like light through water. Then slowly, enormous shadows appeared above the planet. One by one, the sleeping giants emerged from the darkness. Their hulls glowed with red symbols. Their cannons hummed with restrained power. People on the surface stopped what they were doing. Workers, soldiers, even children, all staring upward in fear. The eternal resolve hovered above the clouds, blocking out the sun. A transmission echoed across every channel, every screen, every world. It was a woman's voice, strong, steady and cold. You killed one child. Now the children of Earth are awake. The galaxy froze, and then the skies began to move. The sleeping giants had come to judge. The galaxy had gone silent. After centuries of peace, the stars now carried whispers of one name, Earth. Every news network, every transmission, every diplomatic channel spoke of the same thing. The humans had awakened their ancient fleet. No one had seen such ships before, vessels so massive they could block entire skies, moving faster than any known engine. They didn't use warp drives or wormholes. They bent space itself, and wherever they went, the stars trembled. On the Galactic Council's capital world, Virel Prime, fear had taken root. The tall silver towers that once shone with pride now echoed with panic. Military ships scrambled from the docks, diplomats shouted across halls, and the air was filled with questions no one could answer. Councillor Varys slammed his claws on the round table. Why do they not respond to our calls? We have sent messages of apology, offers of peace, even surrender. Old Councillor Toran, who had lived through the first human wars, spoke quietly. Because they are not listening, he said. When humans go silent, it means their hearts have already decided, Varys hissed. They can't destroy the Council. It would destroy the balance of the galaxy. Toran turned his old, tired eyes toward him. You killed their child. You destroyed the balance first. The chamber fell quiet. No one dared speak after that. Across the galaxy, rumors began to grow like wildfire. Some said the humans had merged their souls with machines. Others said their ships were alive, ancient gods wearing metal skins. A few believed the humans had died long ago, and what now traveled through space was not human at all, but their ghosts. On a mining world near the edge of Council space, a group of alien workers stared up at the sky as a blue light moved slowly across the stars. It's one of their ships, whispered one. A scout, maybe, the other shivered. Why is it so quiet? Because, came a trembling voice, they don't talk before they strike. Inside the Eternal Resolve, Admiral Ilara Stone stood in the command deck. Through the transparent wall, the vastness of space stretched out, endless, empty and cold. Behind her, the AI Oryx processed billions of data streams, tracking every ship in the Council's armada. Enemy fleets detected along 7 sectors. They are forming defensive lines near the inner systems. Ilara's voice was steady. They think they can stop us. Shall I prepare strike protocols?
She shook her head.
Not yet. They need to understand why we are coming. Moments later, a transmission echoed through the galaxy. It was short, clear, and carried no emotion. This is Admiral Ilara Stone of Earth Command. You took an innocent life. You will answer for it. We come not for conquest, but for memory. The message repeated across every known frequency. No one dared reply. Back in the council chamber, the delegates stared at the hologram of the human woman. Her eyes, calm but full of something powerful, sent shivers down every spine. A young alien general whispered, "She doesn't sound like a soldier," Turan replied. "She isn't. She's a mother." Fear spread faster than light. Entire planets began to evacuate. Civilian ships fled from border worlds, leaving cities empty. Merchants hid their cargo, pirates vanished, and even the galaxy's warlords kept their fleets inside hangars. The universe had seen many wars, but this felt different. This wasn't invasion. It was judgment. On board the Solar Hammer, Commander Ryan Cade stood before his crew. They were quiet, all veterans of Earth's forgotten wars. Some had lost families to the Council's cruelty long ago. He said, "They think we are coming for revenge." "But they are wrong," a young pilot asked softly. "Then why are we coming, sir?" Ryan looked out at the endless stars. "For the memory of what they destroyed, for the promise we made, to never let another human die alone in the dark." The crew saluted silently. Meanwhile, on Virel Prime, panic grew worse. Power grids overloaded as millions of transmissions flooded the air. "Human fleet has entered Council space," shouted a communication officer. "They bypassed all defense gates." Varys's claws trembled. How did they enter?" No one answered. The truth was simple. No one knew how to stop them. Suddenly, the entire capital world felt a shadow pass overhead. Citizens ran to windows, soldiers dropped their weapons, and children pointed upward. The Eternal Resolve had arrived. It hung above the planet like a silent moon, covering the sky. Smaller ships moved beside it, glowing faintly blue, forming patterns like ancient constellations. The people of Virel watched in silence, hearts pounding, and then a sound, deep and low, rolled across the planet. It wasn't a weapon. It was a heartbeat echoing through the atmosphere. The fleet's engines pulsed in unison. Boom, 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 like the heart of something alive. Inside the council hall, panic exploded. Varys shouted, "Activate planetary shields." The defense commander stuttered, "Sir, the shields won't power on. Their signal is interfering with everything. Then fire all weapons." Varys screamed. The commander's voice broke. "We can't lock onto them. They're too fast." Tauren simply stood and whispered, "It's too late." The giants are awake. Back on the Eternal Resolve, Ilara looked at the planet below. Her voice was soft, almost sad. "They still think they can win," Oryx responded. "Orders, Admiral?" She stared at the blue world beneath her, full of life, full of fear. "Prepare message for all council members," she said quietly. "Message ready." "Send it." Oryx's voice echoed across every speaker, every device, every frequency in the system. "You once called humanity a threat. You were right." The message ended, leaving the galaxy in silence once again. A silence heavier than war, because now everyone understood. Earth wasn't just back. It remembered. The galaxy's silence did not last long. When the Eternal Resolve arrived at Kereth Prime, one of the Council's largest military worlds, it was not to talk, it was to show the universe what Earth had become. From orbit, the planet looked peaceful. Green continents, blue oceans, white clouds. But beneath the calm, there were thousands of defense cannons, shield arrays, and fleets ready for war. Council Command had chosen Kereth Prime as the place to stop the humans. They believed no one could pass its defenses. They were wrong. In the Council's control tower, General Voran stood tall, his red eyes glowing with confidence. "Let them come," he told his officers. "We have more firepower than any single fleet in the galaxy. These humans will learn their place again." Outside the window, hundreds of alien ships hovered in formation, engines burning bright. They were waiting for the humans to appear, and then the sky cracked. Without warning, space above Kerith Prime ripped open. Not a wormhole, not a teleportation gate. It looked like the stars themselves were bending, pulled by some invisible hand. From the distortion, 7 massive ships emerged, each the size of a moon. Their surfaces covered in glowing lines like veins of light. At the center floated the Eternal Resolve. Leading them like a silent god of war, the alien soldiers froze. This cannot be real," one whispered. Their scanners glitched instantly. No readings, no signals, no heat patterns. The human ships didn't even register as alive. To the machines, they were ghosts. In the control tower, alarms screamed. "General, they are in orbit. How?" Her sensors didn't detect any warp signature. Voran gritted his teeth. "Target them! Fire everything we have." The command echoed through the base. Hundreds of missile bays opened. Energy cannons charged, filling the sky with light. And then the storm began. Thousands of energy beams shot upward, painting the sky in blinding colors. Explosions filled the heavens as the alien fleet unleashed all its power at once. The sound was deafening. The light brighter than day. When it was over, smoke filled the air and half the sky was gone behind fire. But when it cleared, the human ships still floated there, untouched, not a single mark. The crew of the Eternal Resolve watched silently. A young officer whispered, "They used everything, and it did nothing." Admiral Ilara Stone stood on the bridge, her hands behind her back. Her eyes were calm but sad. "They never learn," she said quietly. "They always choose fear first." She turned to her AI, Oryx. "Prepare message for planetary command." Oryx's voice echoed through the halls. "Message channel open." Ilara leaned closer. "This is Admiral Stone of Earth Command. You have attacked without provocation. You will not receive a second warning." She paused, then spoke softer, almost as if speaking to the ghosts of the past. "You killed our child. Now you will witness what that means. The humans did not fire missiles. They did not send troops. Instead, the Eternal Resolve released a low pulse, a wave of golden light that spread across the planet's atmosphere. At first, nothing happened. Then every alien weapon, every engine, every satellite began to power down. One by one, their systems went dark. "General, we're losing power. Shields are collapsing. Our ships aren't responding." Voran slammed his fist against the console. "They're jamming us." "No, sir," said a trembling technician. "They're rewriting us." From orbit, the humans watched as the entire defense grid shut off. The great lights of Kerith Prime dimmed until the planet was wrapped in shadow. On the bridge, Oryx announced, "Enemy fleet neutralized. Planetary defenses disabled. No casualties detected." Ilara exhaled slowly. "Good, we are not monsters. We only remind them." But on the surface, not everyone was unharmed. In the city of Darnis, civilians ran through dark streets as power grids failed. Some looked up and saw the massive human ships glowing faintly in the night sky. Silent, motionless, like watchers from another world. A child asked his mother, "Are they gods?" She held him close and whispered, "No, they're humans." Back in the control tower, General Voran stared at the dead screens. He had never felt fear like this before. He looked up at the sky, at the ships that could destroy him in a second but didn't. "They could have killed us all," he said. "Why didn't they?" Old Councillor Toran, watching from the capital via HoloLink, whispered, "Because they're showing mercy. The same mercy we never gave them." Then suddenly a transmission appeared across every device on Kerith Prime. It was the face of a young human, a boy, maybe 10 years old. His image flickered almost like a memory. His voice was soft. "We forgive you." And then he vanished. Every heart on that planet stopped for a second. Some soldiers dropped to their knees. Others wept silently. The entire world understood. This was the child they had killed. From orbit, Ilara watched the transmission fade. Her voice broke slightly as she whispered, "Rest now, little one." "They've seen," Oryx's voice was quiet. "Mission over?" Ilara nodded. "No, not yet. We have to reach the council itself." The fleet began to move, forming a shining line across the darkness. And as the human ships left the orbit of Kareth Prime, the people below watched in silence, not out of fear, but out of something deeper. Respect. For the first time in history, the galaxy saw the truth. Humanity did not rise for revenge. It rose for justice, but this was only the beginning. The council homeworld awaited, and there the real judgment would begin. The galaxy held its breath. After Kareth Prime fell without a single shot fired, no one doubted the truth anymore. Earth had returned, and it carried the power of the ancients. News spread faster than light. Across colonies and worlds, everyone whispered the same question: what will the humans do next? For the first time in centuries, even the Galactic Council, the proud rulers of thousands of species, felt fear in their bones, and they had every reason to. In the great chamber of the Galactic Council homeworld, panic filled the air. Delegates shouted across the room. Screens showed images of Earth's fleet moving through space like glowing titans, silent and unstoppable. Councillor Varys, his scales shining under the lights, slammed his hands on the table. "They are monsters! They will destroy us all." Ultoran, calm but grim, replied, "They are not monsters. They are what we made them." The room fell silent. Outside the large glass walls of the chamber, the stars shimmered. But they no longer looked beautiful, only dangerous. Far away, the eternal resolve approached the Council's home system. From her command chair, Admiral Ilara Stone watched the massive planet ahead. It was surrounded by a golden defense ring, covered with heavy weapons and shields said to be impossible to breach. Her officers waited for her order. The bridge was silent except for the soft hum of the ship's core. "Oryx," Ilara said quietly, "status. All systems ready. Defense grid detected ahead. 1,000 ships in formation." "They are afraid," Ilara nodded. "They should be." Then she gave her command. "Open a channel to the council," Oryx responded. "Channel open." All frequencies connected. Her image appeared across the galaxy, in the council chamber, on civilian screens, and even in military ships that had once fought against humans. Her voice was calm, but her eyes held fire. "This is Admiral Ilara Stone of Earth Command. You took the life of a human child. You silenced our voice. Now you will listen." The chamber shook with tension. No one dared interrupt her. "We do not come for war. We do not seek conquest. But the galaxy must remember who we are and what we stand for. You called us weak. You called us dangerous. You thought we had vanished, but we were never gone. We were waiting." Her voice softened. "Waiting for the day when justice would call us back." Varys leapt from his seat. "This is madness," he shouted. "You cannot hold the council hostage." Ilara looked straight at him through the screen. "No," she said simply. "You already did that to yourselves." Her eyes narrowed. "We gave you peace, we gave you knowledge, and you used it to build walls and weapons. You forgot what it means to care, to protect, to value life." The words hit like thunder. Some delegates looked away in shame, others trembled. "Now," she continued, "you will decide your future. Either you stand for life, or you stand against it." Outside the council world, the sky began to change. Thousands of human ships exited warp, one after another, surrounding the planet in a perfect circle. Each ship glowed with soft blue light, forming a halo around the world. It looked almost beautiful, like an angelic warning. The council guards panicked. "Activate shields!" shouted one officer. "Power to all weapons!" cried another, but nothing happened. The human fleet wasn't firing. It wasn't even moving. It was simply there, watching. In the chamber, Tauren stood slowly. "Admiral Stone," he said through the comms, "what is it you want from us?" Ilara's voice turned softer, almost human again. I want you to remember that life is sacred, that the small, the weak, the young, they matter more than power. She looked down for a moment, her voice shaking slightly. A child was all we asked to protect. You failed, so we will remind you of what mercy looks like. She turned to her AI. Oryx, begin the demonstration. Confirmed. In the sky above the council planet, the human ships moved in perfect harmony. Their lights brightened, then slowly dimmed, forming strange, beautiful shapes. Circles, waves, symbols from long-forgotten Earth languages. Every device, every screen, every broadcast stopped. And then a holographic image appeared in the sky for the whole world to see. It was the human child again, the same face seen at Kareth Prime. He smiled gently, his eyes full of light. We do not destroy, the child said. We remember. The hologram faded, leaving only silence behind. Then something incredible happened. The humans powered down their ships. Every light went dark. The entire fleet floated quietly in space, weapons cold, engines off. Lara spoke one last time. This is your chance to change. Do not waste it. The next time we come, it will not be to remind you. It will be to end you. The transmission ended. In the council chamber, no one spoke. Toran wiped his eyes. She gave us mercy, he whispered. Mercy we never gave them. Varys sank back in his chair, his voice shaking. They could have destroyed us in a heartbeat. Yes, Toran said softly. That's what makes them human. As the eternal resolve turned away from the council world, Ilara looked at the stars one last time. Her voice was tired but full of hope. We have reminded them. Now let's go home. Oryx replied. Home, Admiral? She smiled faintly. Yes, to Earth, to where it all began. The engines flared, and the great ships vanished into the light, leaving behind a galaxy forever changed. The stars were quiet again. For the first time in 1,000 years, the galaxy was at peace, not because of treaties or fear, but because every world now remembered one simple truth. Humanity was still watching. The great fleet of Earth, the sleeping giants, had done what no army ever could. Without destroying, without conquering, they had brought the entire galaxy to silence. And in that silence, every race began to think. The eternal resolve floated far from any sun, surrounded by the gentle light of distant stars. Inside, Admiral Ilara Stone stood by the viewing glass, watching the infinite darkness. Her reflection looked older now, tired, but behind her eyes burned a quiet strength, the kind that comes from both pain and hope. Oryx, she said softly. Status of the fleet? All systems stable. Fleet returning to low-power mode. Estimated arrival to Sol system 6 hours. Good, she whispered. They deserve rest. And you, Admiral? Ilara smiled faintly. I'll rest when I see Earth again. 6 hours later the stars shifted. And then blue light filled the bridge. Before them like a miracle floated Earth. Oceans shimmered like liquid sapphire. Clouds swirled gently over continents glowing with city lights. It was beautiful and alive. Even after centuries of silence, the home of humanity still stood strong. For a moment, no one spoke. Some officers quietly wiped tears from their eyes. Others simply stared. Ilara's voice broke the silence. Home, she said softly. We came so far, and yet it was always here. When the fleet entered orbit, Earth's skies lit up with streaks of light, the return of ships that had once been myths. Across the planet, people came out of their homes and looked up, pointing at the glowing trails in the night sky. Children asked their parents, "Who are they?" And the parents answered proudly, "They are ours." Inside the Eternal Resolve, the crew gathered in the main hall. Admiral Ilara stood before them. Her voice carried through the massive chamber, calm but full of emotion. "Today," she began, "we did not fight a war. We reminded the galaxy who we are and what we protect." She paused, looking at each face. Tired, strong, human. We showed mercy where there was none. We chose peace over power. And for that we will always be remembered. There was silence, not of fear but of pride. Then softly one crew member began to clap. Soon the entire hall echoed with applause, not loud but full of respect. Ilara smiled. We are not gods, we are not ghosts, we are human, and that is enough. Far across the stars, the Galactic Council had changed too. The great chamber that once rang with arrogance now echoed with humility. Varys no longer shouted. Toran, old and wise, led the talks for peace. For the first time, every species agreed to new laws, laws that protected the weak, the young, and the innocent. They named it the Pact of Earth. Its first line read, "No child of any world shall be harmed again," but still sometimes, when a world looked up at the night sky, they swore they saw them, faint blue lights moving silently among the stars. The people whispered, "The giants are still awake." Back on Earth, Admiral Ilara visited a quiet place, a small field of white flowers outside the old city of Geneva. There, a simple stone stood. No title, no rank, only a name, Eli Stone, her son, the child whose death had awakened an entire planet. She knelt before the grave, the wind gently moving her hair. Her voice trembled as she spoke. "We did it, Eli. They know now. You can rest." A soft light shimmered across the field, maybe sunlight, maybe something more. And for a brief moment, she could almost hear a voice, the voice of a child, laughing softly. "I'm proud of you, Mom." Ilara closed her eyes, smiling through her tears. That night she stood by the ocean, watching the waves roll onto the shore. The stars above reflected in the water, countless lights, silent and beautiful. Oryx spoke beside her, its voice calm as ever. "Admiral, the galaxy reports peace talks on 12 worlds. Your mission is complete," she nodded. "Then maybe we can finally sleep again. Will we ever need to wake?" Ilara smiled faintly. "If we do, the stars will call us." The camera would rise slowly, showing Earth glowing softly beneath the stars. The fleet, the sleeping giants, rested quietly in orbit. Engines dim, hearts still. They were not conquerors. They were not destroyers. They were guardians, silent watchers of peace, and in every corner of the galaxy, whenever someone tried to harm the innocent, they remembered what happened when Earth awoke, because legends never truly sleep. They called it vengeance, but history would remember it as mercy. The day Earth's sleeping giants returned, and the stars learned what it meant to be human.